Single page applications or SPAs are very common these days, especially with rich UI development frameworks like React, Angular, Vue, etc. ASP.NET Core provides built-in templates and services to make single page app development easy and seamless. In this video, let's explore how the different pieces of a single page application template comes together in ASP.NET Core. If you're new here, my name is Rahul and I am an Azure MVP working as a software consultant in Brisbane, Australia. And welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's head off to the command prompt and create a new single page application template. For the demonstration purposes, I will use a React application template. To create a new application, let's use the .NET CLI and specify the new command and pass in React, which is the single page application name template. For Angular, you can also pass in Angular. Entering this is going to create a new application in the current folder. Let's open this in the IDE of your choice. In this example, I will use Rider, but you can use whichever IDE that you're used to. The React project template creates an ASP.NET Core app and also a React application. The ASP.NET Core application is intended for data access, authorization, and server-side access, while the React application is used for UI concerns. In here, we can see the ASP.NET Core application structure as usual with the program.cs file and the startup.cs class. We also have a controller, which is the weather forecast controller. The client app folder is where the React application lives. This is a standard Create React application. A Create React app is an officially supported way to create single-page React applications. It offers modern build setup with no configuration. This is maintained and supported by the creators of React itself. The React template bundles this into the client app folder. There are slight differences between the one that you would have created using npx create react app and the one that is created by the template. However, the capabilities are the same. The app created with the .NET CLI has a Bootstrap-based layout. If you look at the package.json, we can see this uses Bootstrap. And also, it has the React router set up by default. Let's F5 and run this application and see what happens. So running this, we can see there is an npm install that's happening here. Once that is completed, this will launch the application. Since this is the first time we are running, the npm install does take a while to install these packages that's defined in the package.json file. The application has started and we have a hello world page showing up. It shows information of this template that was used to create this application. We can see this is an ASP.NET Core application with React for client side and also Bootstrap for layout and styling. We have 3 buttons on the top which takes us to the different routes in this template. The home is this page and we have a counter which implements a simple incremental counter. It also has a fetch data page which hits the weather forecast API controller that we saw before and displays data from the get of that particular controller. Let's explore how this is all working together. When we ran the application using F5, you saw that it was running the npm install by default. When you press F5, it builds and then launches the application. In this case, it is the spa.cs project file. Let's open up the spa.cs project file to explore a bit more. In here, we have a target, which is the debug ensure node environment, which is happening before the build. It also has an associated condition to make sure this runs only when it is running in the debug mode, and also when the node modules folder does not exist under the SPA root. The SPA root is a variable that's defined much above in the CS project file, and it defaults to the client app directory. This is the same directory where we have the create React application. Under this target, it first ensures that the node.js is installed. Then it goes on to run the npm install command under the spa root directory, which is the client app folder. Since under the client app folder, we have a package.json file, running npm install is going to install the packages defined in the package.json file. When running the very first time, the node modules directory doesn't exist, so it automatically runs the npm install. If we open up the client app folder in the Explorer, we can see that the node_modules folder already exists, because of which if we run this application again, it's not going to run the npm install. So if you're working as part of a team and if somebody else has made changes to your package.json, you need to explicitly run npm install under your client app folder. The CS project also has a publish run webpack target. This runs after targets of compute files to publish. That is whenever you publish this application. Usually, you publish the application when you're ready to deploy this into a development, test, or production environment. In those cases, it runs npm install again and also runs the npm run build. It then publishes the output to the build folder under the SPA root, which is the client app folder. All these npm commands are defined in the package.json file. So if we go back, we can see the scripts in here which shows the different commands. So when you're running npm build, it basically runs the React scripts, which is part of the create React app, and passes on the build. Similarly, we also have the npm start and test commands in here. Now we know how the npm install ran automatically on build. But how did it create the build output and start the application when we pressed F5? Let's go into startup.cs to understand more of this. Under the configure method, if you scroll down, we have an app.useSPA method which is passing in a few parameters to it. In here, it's setting the source path to be the client app directory. This is the directory where the React application lives. Also, when it is running in the development environment, it's specifying to use the React development server and passes on the npm script start. Running the npm start is what starts the application. Earlier we saw in the package.json, the start command first cleans the build output directory and then runs the application using the React scripts and passing on start. The React development server is started only if it's running in a development environment. The is development is determined by the ASP.NET Core _environment variable. By default, this is set under the launch settings.json file in the profiles. So we can see in the ASP.NET Core environment, this is set as development. This is the same for both the profiles that's defined by default. Let's go into the definition of the use SPA method. Pressing F12 in Rider disassembles the code automatically and shows that in here. You could configure this on other IDEs as well. However, Rider gives this by default. So we see that the SPA extension provides extension methods for configuring an application to host a client-side single-page application. So with this extension, it handles all the requests from this point in the middleware chain by returning the default page for the single-page application. In this case, it is the React application. So you need to make sure that this middleware is placed late in the chain so that all the other middlewares gets to handle whatever is appropriate for them. And by default, when it reaches here, it passes on to the index.html file of the single page application. So if you go back to the startup.cs, you can see that this app.useSPA is placed towards the end of the configure method. So when running in the development environment, it automatically starts a React server on a dynamic port and starts routing the requests to it. These extension methods are provided using the Microsoft ASP.NET SPA Services.extensions library. So this, by default, is included as part of the SPA template. So if we expand the dependencies and look at the .NET Core application and the packages, we can see that there is the Microsoft.ASP.NET Core SPA Services.extensions library included by default. Even though it's convenient that you do not have to spin up your own Create React app server, there is a slight drawback with this approach. Every time you make a C# code change, you need to rebuild the application and restart the server. This also forces you to restart the React application server, which takes a couple of extra seconds than usual. If you're making a lot of C# related changes and don't want to wait for the Create React application server to start up, you can run it externally and start routing the request from here. Let's see how we can do that. To start the Create React application on its own server, let's first open up the client app folder in Visual Studio Code. So let's explore that and open this up in VS Code. This is where usually I have my front-end application development. In the VS Code terminal, we can run npm start to start this application. Note this is running under the client app folder. This has started the application in the localhost 3000 port, which is by default what is configured for the Create React app. Since we have this running, let's go back to our ASP.NET Core solution and comment this out and reroute these requests into the React application server that we have already running. To do that, let's use the extension method useProxy to SPA development server on the SPA object. In here, we can pass in the URL to that particular application, which is localhost 3000. Once we have this set up, let's run the ASP.NET Core application to see how this is working. Now we have two applications that's running on the same machine. The ASP.NET Core server is running in the localhost 5001 port, and the Create React App server is running in the localhost 3000. In the ASP.NET Core server, any request that cannot be matched to a controller or a web page is automatically rerouted to the localhost 3000, which is where the Create React application lives. So this is why we are seeing the index.html, which is served from the localhost 3000. Here we can press home, counter, and all of these functionality is working as expected. Note that in this case, we were using the ASP.NET Core server to navigate to this application. However, if we were to use the Create React application, everything else works as expected, even the counter functionality, but the fetch data is broken. You can see this is still loading and does not show the table in here. If we were to open up the Network tab and refresh this page, we see that there is a call for weather forecast, but this just returns you need to enable JavaScript to run this app. This is because these requests are now handled by the Create React App server. This does not know about the ASP.NET Core server that exists on the 5000 port. To fix this, Create React App does have an option to specify a proxy very similar to the way we specified to the .NET Core application. If we open up the official document on how to proxy API request in development environment for Create React App, it shows to set a proxy attribute. Let's first stop this application and go to package.json file. In here, we can add in a proxy attribute and specify the HTTP localhost 5000 URL where we have the ASP.NET Core Web API running. So specifying this and making sure we have a comma, let's run this application again using npm start. Now we are again running the application under the localhost 3000, which is the React server. So let's go over to the fetch data, and we now see that the request is successful. This is because right now we have the Create React App server also proxying its request for any unhandled request over to the ASP.NET Core Web API, which is running on localhost 5000. I usually prefer running the application using the ASP.NET Core server. So in this case, if I want to prevent the npm start here to not launch a browser URL, I can do that by adding in an environment.local file. Under the client app folder, let's add a new file with the name .env.local. Inside this, we can specify the browser is equal to none. This will prevent the browser being launched whenever we run npm start. So now, when I'm running npm start, this simply starts the React server without launching this into a default browser. Now, if I go back and run the application under the 5001, which hits the ASP.NET Core server, it runs the application as expected. Now, if you prefer to run the application using the React application server and don't want the ASP.NET Core application to launch a browser, you can do that under the launch settings file. So in the project, under the launch settings.json file, we have a launch browser attribute, and you can set that to false. This will prevent launching it from the ASP.NET Core side. So whichever method you choose, you can turn off the appropriate browser being automatically launched. When deploying this application to production, in the startup.cs, we can see that under the configure services method, we have the add sparse static files extension methods that's configuring the root path to be under the client app/build folder. Earlier, we saw in the CS project file that we have the publish run webpack target, which copies these files into the same folder, which is the spar root and the build folder. So this specifies the root path for that as the same. If we come down to the configure method, we can also see this additional call to app.use sparse static files. This uses the files that's configured under the client app/build folder. So as you can see, this configures the application to serve static files for a single page application. The files will be located, which is registered using the sparse static file provider, which is what we did up above in the configure services method. If we were to publish this application, for example, let's go to the spar.project, right click and say publish. And we can specify publish to folder to see how this is working as expected. Let's run this and see how the output looks like. Now this is by default going to run the npm install and also the npm build, which is going to package this application as per the React scripts. We have the application published successfully into this folder path. Let's copy this and navigate to that to see how this looks like. So we have the client app folder along with the ASP.NET Web API server, and we have the build folder under that. So this use sparse static files automatically serves the files from that folder. If you want to learn more about routing and how this works in the whole HTTP request pipeline, check out my video on routing linked here or in the description below. The default React application that's bundled along with the ASP.NET Core single page application template does not support TypeScript, but Create React App has inbuilt support for TypeScript. So if you head off to the documentation, you can see that you can create a new React application using the Create React App and specifying the template to be TypeScript if you want to use TypeScript by default. Now, if you're setting a new project, you can go to the client app folder, delete all the existing code, and run the npx command to create application that supports TypeScript by default. The ASP.NET Core template will just pick that up as a different SPA application and run that as expected. The ASP.NET Core also bundles templates for other front-end frameworks. For example, if we want to create one for Angular, we can create using the .NET CLI and specifying the new and Angular as the template instead of React. This is going to create an application which has the client app folder using the Angular template. Let's open this up in the Visual Studio Code, and you can see that the client app folder now has the Angular dependencies and the template required for that. Under the package.json, you can see the ng scripts and the start command. The startup.cs has very similar code as we saw before for the React application, but with slight path changes. So in here, the root path is configured to the /dist folder of client app, and also we can see that in the development environment, it passes to the Angular CLI server and passes in the npm script as start. So if we were to run this application using F5 in VS Code, it first asks to select the environment, which creates the launch.json file, and we can press F5 again to run the application. This again is restoring the application using npm, using the same build targets in the CS project file. So if you look at the angular.cs proj, we have the build targets which we saw as before, which is running the npm install currently. The restore is successful, and you can see a similar template using the Angular application. Here we can see that it's running ASP.NET Core and Angular and Bootstrap for layout and styling. Both templates have a similar look and feel and functionality, but just using different client frameworks. So if we go to the counter, we can see the counter still working, and also the fetch data is returning us values from the controller. I hope this helps you to understand more about the ASP.NET Core single page application template and how it all fits together. Like we saw, the template works very similar for React and Angular or any other front-end framework that you would like to use. If you like this video, please make sure to hit the like button. And if you want to be notified in the future of similar such videos, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you and see you soon.